Hey everyone, my name is Adrian and this is Rabona TV's weekend recap where I look at the top 4 leagues and sometimes rotate in a bonus league or competition as well. And you guys just comment on what my hair looks like, apparently. I honestly knew that would happen, but I also knew I was getting a trim on the weekend, so I tested out my theory, and sure enough, this is why I love you guys. All right, no further words from me, sir. Consider subscribing because when you subscribe, I'm always speaking directly to you in these videos, and only you. Otherwise, I'm just shouting at the general public, you know? Speaking of shouting, let's talk Inter versus Cagliari. Bit of an unremarkable match with a fantastic ending to it that will have some repercussions for Inter's coming matches. First off though, Ashley Young got the start for Inter and looked pretty decent out there. Definitely not a stretch to say that he was amongst Inter's top performers in this match. He got an assist on Lautaro's early goal. And by early I mean goal in the first half. But in the 78th, Raja Nainggolan equalized for the visitors. Nainggolan, of course, is on loan from Inter. Awkward. Pretty fortunate equalizer with a massive deflection, taking it past Handanovic, off the inside of the post, and in. Now, at the end of the match, handbags. Inter felt hard done by with the lack of calls going in their direction, which they may have a point about that, to be honest, but Lautaro completely lost control, got a yellow, and told the referee some intimate tips for what he could do with his own ass. That got him a second yellow, so he was off and started beating up the San Siro. While Inter's second keeper, Tommaso Berni, also got a red card for sharing his opinion a little too strongly on the pitch when he was a substitute. So, 1-1 there, and going into Inter's next match away to Udinese, they'll be without Lautaro. Did you watch Atalanta against Torino? Did you? Because you'll wish that you did if you didn't. I'm sorry, but you missed out on something spectacular from Atalanta. If you want to watch a bunch of goals and Atalanta is playing, they're worth investing your time into. This past weekend, they went away to Torino and slapped 7 goals past them, and only 2 of which were penalties. And 1 of the goals came from the halfway line. It was that kind of day for Torino. Absolutely brutal performance from them. But it of course wasn't all down to Torino being poor. When Atalanta have scored 5 or more goals 4 times this season already. Super impressive stuff from Gasperini and the boys. This is actually the second time they've scored 7 in a match this season. The last time was at the end of October against Udinese. They are a bit of an inconsistent team, that's for sure, but they are extremely entertaining when they are feeling up for it. Wouldn't be surprised to see Gasperini at one of the bigger Italian clubs soon. Another match, another win for Milan. Wow. Never thought I'd be saying that back in October, you know? But the tides of change, which can partially be attributed to Zlatan's presence, have washed over Milan. They got a 1-0 win over Brescia away. I know it's just Brescia, but still, this is Milan we're talking about. They were terrible this season. But saying it's all down to Zlatan is way oversimplifying things, as recent performances from Donnarumma have kept Milan in matches, while Theo Hernandez has been a great star for them lately as well, and Ante Rebic, who scored again, the winner. Hellas Verona are on a nice little run. They started the season playing all right, but couldn't get the results. They caused plenty of problems for the bigger teams, but now they're getting the points. They beat Lecce 3-0 on Sunday, extending their unbeaten run to 4 matches now. And they still have a match in hand against one of the teams we'll talk about next. Roma and Lazio was a match I was super looking forward to, and a match I had to watch without audio for most of it because they played at the same time as Benfica. But a match that also let me down a little bit. 1-1 was the final there, thanks to 2 howlers from the keepers. So Lazio do keep their unbeaten run going, stretching it to 15 matches, which is wild, considering they've only played 20 matches so far. But their winning streak is over. Napoli hosting Juventus was definitely not a dud, as Napoli have been struggling for form all season long, while Juventus have looked like they were on the verge of becoming unstoppable. But in the second half, it all kicked off with Piotr Zielinski putting Napoli ahead. In the 86th, it looked like game over as Lorenzo Insigne did what he has done far too infrequently this season, which is score a goal. Great volley past Szczesny, 2-0 Napoli, and the scenes in Milan must have been incredible at that point. Until Ronaldo struck again. Ronaldo scored for the 8th match running as he continues to storm up the scoring charts. 17 goals in 18 matches for him now. Do you think he can catch Ciro? I don't know. Wouldn't put it past him. But Napoli held on. In Sarri's return to the San Paolo, he tasted defeat as his Juve side were lifeless. For the first time this season, they failed to register a single shot on target in the first half against Napoli. Well, Napoli has turned things around, for the moment at least, with their first home win in 6 matches following 4 home defeats in a row. Promising stuff from them as they beat Lazio midweek in the Coppa Italia as well. So, to the standings, as Juve failed to take advantage of the drop points by Inter, yet still have a 3-point lead. Could be cut to 2 points if Lazio win their match in hand against Hellas Verona, which will not be easy, as I was saying. Some big scores in the Bundesliga to shake things up. First of all, the league leaders Leipzig went away to Eintracht Frankfurt, who were on a poor run, but won their match last week, and Leipzig struggled away to Frankfurt. They had plenty of the ball, but they could not force it past Kevin Trapp. Why? Because they could barely even get the ball on target. Over 20 attempts, like 22 or 23, and only 4 on target. Frankfurt, they barely had the ball, but they gave Gulaschi some trouble, at least in the second half. They only had 1 shot in the first half. Goals from Toure and Kostic gave Frankfurt the 2-0 win and Leipzig's first loss since the end of October, when they lost to Freiburg, I believe. Before that happened though, 2 of Leipzig's title rivals in Dortmund and Mönchengladbach secured the 3 points in big ways. Dortmund, first off, let's address the pronunciation of Erling's last name.
Say whatever you want. Two A's is O in Norway, but we're not in Norway now. Haaland, I like it more, to be honest.
Okay, so Haaland is what I should have been saying instead of Haaland. But yeah, he doesn't seem to care what we call him, so we'll go with the anglicized version of Haaland because that's easier for me to pronounce. He came off of the bench once again against Köln, and he took over the match once again as well. Well, saying that Haaland took control of it would be a little bit disrespectful to Jadon Sancho in hindsight, as Sancho was once again incredible for Dortmund. He scored and assisted, just as he's done in 6 of his last 7 appearances, which is absurd. He's second in the assist standings and third in the scoring standings, though by a decent amount, as Werner and Lewandowski have run away with that scoring chart. But yeah, at 3-1, Haaland came on and Haaland did what he does best, score goals, including an extremely composed finish from an acute angle after he had rounded the keeper. 5-1, Dortmund, the final there. Bayern clearly copied Dortmund's answers for this weekend's exam as they banged 5 past Schalke. I know that Bayern have been good since Flick took over, but Schalke have also been good, so I didn't expect this kind of domination from Bayern over Wagner Schalke. Lewandowski scored, of course, his 21st of the season to take him above Timo Werner in the race for the Torjägerkannen Award. How was that pronunciation? Big performance from Bayern, most notably from Goretzka and Lewandowski. Schalke never looked like they would have a chance in this one. 5-0 the final, 5 wins from 5 for Bayern. Oh yeah, I mentioned Mönchengladbach and then I failed to tell you what happened. My bad. They faced off against a free-falling Mainz side that is sitting 1 place above the relegation playoff now, and they eased past them with a 3-1 scoreline. Brilliant performance from Alassane Plea to score his 6th and 7th of the season. He now leads Gladbach in the goals department. Has a decent amount of assists as well. He's having a bit of a Sancho season. So, standings. That loss to Frankfurt cuts Leipzig's lead down to just a single point above Bayern, with the 2 Borussias circling around them as well. Oh, and respect to Leverkusen as well, those boys are no slouches either, as their 3-0 win over Dusseldorf has them just 6 points off of the top. Man, don't you love how close the Bundesliga race is? It always is, at least. With the obvious asterisk being that Bayern always wins it. Alright, let's go to Spain. In Spain, Barcelona often wins the league also, but they didn't win this past weekend away to Valencia. The performance under Setien have been middling, I'd say. The first was decent, the second not so much, and then the third was brutal. They even had the benefit of playing against Valencia side without Rodrigo in the starting 11, as Rodrigo was expected to make the switch to Barcelona to replace Luis Suarez, but he came on later. Now, Ter Stegen saved a penalty early in this one to deny Maxi Gomez, but later on, Gomez got his revenge as he scored a second half brace to hand Barcelona a 2-0 L. Hold this L. Messi took 11 shots, the most he's taken in a La Liga match without scoring. Tons of possession for Barcelona, 73%, and they couldn't do much with it. Griezmann not looking good, and the curse is back. Messi doesn't win it for Barcelona, Barcelona don't win. It feels too familiar, and Barcelona fans have got a fear for the day that he leaves them. But that shouldn't come for a while. Atletico Madrid, 0-0 against Leganés. I stand by what I said last week regarding Simeone and Atletico. These guys have scored 22 goals in 21 matches, which is just brutal. They are so tough to watch. Real Sociedad, our boys, had a great match at home against Mallorca in which they won 3-0. Porto continuing his great season with yet another assist on the day to set up Alex Isak for the first goal. That makes 6 assists for Porto and an important win for Sociedad in the hunt for that top 4 finish. Sevilla nabbed a 2-0 victory over Granada with Luke de Jong and Nolito providing the goals. De Jong, of course, went on that crazy long run without a goal, but he's scored in his last 2 matches consecutively and was probably the best player on the pitch versus Granada. So we could be turning things around there. The race for the top 4 is hot, by the way, as Getafe got their 2nd consecutive win to take them above Atletico and Real Sociedad. They're also just 2 points behind Sevilla, which is even more impressive. I wasn't so sure how they would do this season considering their sort of a breakout year last year, but it's looking good. Ah yes, and Espanyol played out a 1-1 draw at home against Bilbao, and Raúl de Tomàs scored the equalizer for Espanyol that makes 3 goals in 3 matches for him. If I speak, I will be in big trouble. Real Madrid went away to Ronaldo's Real Valladolid to try to take advantage of Barcelona's big stumble in Valencia, and while they controlled the match well, Valladolid were frustrating / Real Madrid's finishing was poor. It took a 78th minute winner from Nacho, of all people, to win the match for Real Madrid in a match where they didn't even concede a single shot on goal. That is good from Real Madrid. Oh yeah, and here are the standings. Real Madrid are now on top, Barcelona in 2nd, Sevilla in 3rd, Getafe in 4th, and the rest as follows. Alright boys, no Premier League this weekend of course, but there was the FA Cup, so we can run a few of the results that will most likely interest you guys. Tottenham went away to St. Mary's and they thought they had done just enough to get the result. Not their greatest performance by any means, but Sofiane Boufal leveled for the Saints in the 87th minute. So Spurs get yet another FA Cup replay after having to play Middlesbrough twice not long ago. Mourinho's sentiment? It sucks, but hey, let's go again. Brentford, one of the sweethearts of the competition, were just edged out by Leicester at home. Rodgers' boys were spared of their blushes thanks to a 4th-minute goal from Kelechi Iheanacho, and the return to form from him continues in Vardy's stead. But Brentford gave them a lot of trouble. This was by no means an easy 1-0, a very difficult one indeed. Up the Owls. Sheffield Wednesday won again as they beat QPR 2-1 away. Pretty frantic end to this one as it was 1-0 Wednesday in the dying moments of the match as QPR pushed hard for an equalizer, only for Wednesday to then make it 2-0. Naki Wells did pull one back for QPR in the 93rd, but the damage was done by then. Sheffield Wednesday move on. The other half of Sheffield, the Blades won 2-0 over Millwall to move on. Steel City's looking good, boys. A couple of assists from Billy Sharp, the absolute ledge, in the second half to get Sheffield over the line and into the next round. West Brom continued to compile the hurt on West Ham as the championship side beat the future championship side 1-0 in London, when West Brom's Ajayi got sent off in the 72nd minute, giving West Ham 18 minutes. With an extra man, I thought that they would for sure pull it back, but they really are that bad right now. Terrible. David Moyes is going to be a relegation specialist soon if this keeps up. He's like the anti-Big Sam. Chelsea just avoided what would have been another very awkward result for Lampard as a goal from Batshuayi and another from Tomori gave them a 2-1 win over Hull City. Manchester United won 6-0 over Tranmere Rovers, who of course occupy 21st in League One, the 3rd tier of English football, and could be heading down to League Two if they don't brush up. Lingard scored his first goal in a year and Harry Maguire scored a stunner for his first United goal, and it wasn't with his head, by the way. Great strike into the top corner. City beat Fulham 4-0 as you would expect, especially when Tim Ream is getting himself sent off in the 6th minute and giving away a penalty. At that point, dude, just let the dude shoot on goal and take your chances instead of absolutely destroying your own team's chances. And up the Shrews, as Shrewsbury got a huge result with a 2-2 draw at home against a pretty poor Liverpool team. Poor, but also very young Liverpool team, to be fair. Curtis Jones got his 2nd goal in 2 FA Cup matches for Liverpool, while Jason Cummings scored a brace for Shrewsbury to force a replay at Anfield. Oh yeah, Liverpool's other goal was an own goal. Now, 2 things. First of all, this is the same Jason Cummings that calls himself Cumdog and was banned from a McDonald's while he was playing for Hibernian because he allegedly threw McMuffins at the staff. Allegedly. And 2, Klopp had this to say about the replay, quote, "The Premier League asked us to respect the winter break, that's what we do. If the FA doesn't respect that, then we cannot change it. We will not be there. Does that mean I won't be there? Yes, Neil Critchley will be in charge." So it will be a young squad again for Liverpool against Shrewsbury at Anfield. Can the boys do it like they did it against Everton? We'll see. All right, guys, that's it from me. No bonus league this week, but a big rest in paradise to Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and everyone else who passed away in that helicopter crash. That's very shocking news. This guy was an elite athlete, one of the greatest of any sport, and undoubtedly one of the 3 kings of basketball alongside Jordan and LeBron. And he had a deep love for football as well. Not that that should be the headline, of course. Not that that should be the headline at all, but he transcended basketball. And it's a tragic loss and too many lives cut short, just like that. His daughter looked like a promising player as well, and Kobe himself said that she was going to keep the family legacy going every time people told him he needed to have a son to do so. So it's just, you hate to see it. So RIP Black Mamba, Gianna, and all of those on board, and strength to his wife Vanessa and the rest of his family. It's a bit of a bummer way to end this, but I would have felt strange not mentioning it, and I guess that's life, man, isn't it? The good with the bad, happy with the horrible. Got to go through these things. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate and love you, and take care of yourself.